Hi, my name is Sarah Gottlieb and you are listening to The Sound of Color. I'm a designer and I work with colors in spatial design, product design and branding. In this podcast, you will meet a series of influential guests in the field of design and architecture who will all share their personal stories and expert knowledge on and about colors. Together we will delve into the magic of color and its significance in the world of design.
For me, it's really important to somehow create work that you can really feel in a way.
You know how some people swear by a specific coffee brand or refuse to use anything but a certain kind of pen? Well, for me, it's paint, and not just any paint. I want to say a big thank you to the sponsor of this episode, my go-to paint brand Flügger. They've been in the game since 1783, so safe to say they know a thing or two about craftsmanship, quality, and most importantly, color. So if you love color and care about quality, check out Flügger, because life's too short for bad paint. This episode is also supported by the Danish Arts Foundation, helping bring more color, creativity, and great conversations to life. Now back to the episode.
No, but I'm allergic to bullshit.
The guest in this episode is designer Fredrik Paulsen.
Everything I do, it's an expression of my despise in a way, of the superficial bullshit that surrounds design.
Fredrik Paulsen is a Stockholm-based designer known for his fearless use of color and boundary-pushing approach to furniture and spatial design. His signature wood coloring technique was discovered by accident when party garlands left vivid stains on wet tables after a party. A moment that sparked his ongoing exploration of color as a material in its own right. Whether he's creating one-off pieces or large-scale commissions like a 10-meter wide psychedelic pavilion roof for the Nobel Prize ceremony, Fredrik approaches color with the same precision as any physical material. Deeply influenced by subcultures, music and the DIY ethos, Fredrik's practice reflects a belief in design as something social, something that invites participation, conversation and community. In this episode, we talk about designing with emotion rather than perfection, how 90s rave culture shaped his color palette, and why creating spaces for people to meet might just be the most important kind of design. So let's dive into a conversation about culture, experimentation and creative freedom with Fredrik Paulsen.
It's not like I've always been, interested in colors and working with colors, because like when I started, my design path, like when I, studied at my bachelor, it was like in the early 2000s, and minimalism was like the shit, and anti-design was a big thing, especially in fashion. Like Margiela was like a big thing.
Yeah, hot shit.
Yes, and even in graphic design, everything was like very standard, like Times New Roman and very like default. And at that time, I was always painting everything I made white, just like in the Margiela shops. I was very influenced, very inspired by that.
You were like, I'm into fashion.
Yeah.
I'll do that fashion shit.
No, but it was also like, I don't know, for me it was a little bit, I had some sort of, I was a little bit ashamed, because for me, I was very interested in design in a deep way, and I was really...
When you say interested in a deep way, what do you mean?
But like when you talk about design, first thing you think about is like very superficial commercial stuff that you find in the interior design shops, and that was the opposite of what attracted me. I was really interested in like using design as a like form follows function. Yes,
and
that, and also like really, for me it was not about creating commercial things that you could, decorate your house with. It was about something else that was not defined yet in my head. So the things I made was very minimalistic, like very archetypal type of forms, and I wanted to mask all the materiality, so I was always like painting everything white, because I didn't want to be the guy who specified this and this fancy material. So I was always hiding everything in white color. And it was not until RCA actually in London, like some of my teachers there asked me, like, you know, what can you contribute with? What do you have to bring to the table that no one else can bring to the table? And I was like, are you stupid? I'm trying to find the essence here.
I'm bringing the essence to the table.
Yeah, and you know, it's not about that. But that somehow put a seed in my brain a little bit, because I was like, I came from a cabinet making background. Yeah. So I was very confident in creating beautiful, well-made things in fancy woods and everything like that. And you know, when I started to study design, I wanted to take a step away from that. But at the RCA, those two worlds in a way came together nicely.
Yeah. So I guess what they were looking for your personality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was starting to coming back to materials and the beauty of materials and material combinations. And I think that it was my biggest interest in a way, combining, you know, woods and really like nerding in and choosing one type of wood and adding a color to that and adding another material. For me, it's the combination of different things that creates an interesting whole in a way. So I started to challenge myself in making things. But at that same time, I was also very interested in, or I became interested in, like creating this, I don't know, psychedelic surface onto woods. Because when I started to work more again with materials and not hiding them, I was like, one material like, you know, always came back to was pine. Yeah. You know, pine is in vogue now, like people like pine again, but at that time pine was like a no-go, like no one used pine. No. I mean, for me it was also nice because that is like the most wood type of woods.
It's like, almost like a cartoon wood. It's like here's wood, there's grains, it looks like this.
That pattern in the pine, like we're so used to seeing it, but for me it was also like a psychedelic pattern, especially with the knots and all the lines floating around the knots. For me it was psychedelic, so I wanted to add psychedelic colors, like a layer of floating colors on top of that, to somehow emphasize the
psychedelicness.
Yes. So I started to experiment a lot with like dyes and blending and mixing and creating my own dyes to somehow paint the wood in that way. So I spent so much time at the RCA like experimenting with different solutions. Yeah. Water-based, oil-based, alcoholic-based, mixing all types of dyes, because I had this vision in my head how I wanted it to look. Yeah. But I could never reach it, and my plan was like as a degree work to somehow present this work with the pine, and that was colored. But my tutors at one point they were like, no, we don't see any results, so you have to do something else because we don't see any progress here. I was not feeling very well at that time. I was really angry, and you know. But I think it's
what happened then?
No, but I moved on. I dropped it, like, but I couldn't get it out of my head. And one evening I was at a party, and it was very late, and it was decorated with like these colorful paper garlands hanging in the ceiling. Yes. At the end of the night, when we're like cleaning and moving out from the warehouse, the garlands had fallen down onto the tabletops. And
with
the tables,
beer.
Yeah, it was all liquid on the tabletops, and the garlands had dropped their pigments. Yeah. So it was all this somehow floating colorful stains on the tabletops that we couldn't wipe off. I think, I don't know, I put a lot of pride in that to somehow be receptive and be in the moment, to somehow realizing that oh, holy shit, this is it. In Swedish we say, I go over the lake to get water. Yeah. Or like it means like to dig where we stand, basically. So yeah. So I was realizing like, wow, why am I trying all these complicated ways to mixing stains? Yeah. This is the way.
Fredrik's designs were pretty different from what was trending back then, and he actually kind of felt embarrassed about his way of working. Almost secretly he kept playing around with these colorful garlands on wood. and over the years he refined the technique. But he stayed true to the original expression, and today it's a big part of his success. It's not exactly a simple process though. Each piece is totally unique. So why does he keep coming back to this?
I'm getting bored. I mean, when making things for me, I couldn't stand. I could never been a cabinet maker. I could never spend so much time creating the same thing over and over again. I mean, I'm too impatient for that. I need some action sport qualities in the work I do. And for me, it needs to be fun for me to do it. So if I was just like repeating everything all the time, I would probably have designed a machine doing it, or like having, and someone else do it for me. But I'm not interested in that. Like I like having like a craft that I can come back to every now and then. Yeah. Because like, of course, staining wood like this, action painting is not everything I do all the time, but I love to have it. It used to be somehow the core of my practice, but now it's a little
more like a part of it.
Yeah,
or like
something I visit every now and then. I mean, I've been evolving it a little bit since I moved studio. Like I have a little bit different type of setup, so I can't really do exactly what I did in the old studios. I had to find different ways of doing it, and now I'm experimenting with the same type of pigments but applying it in different ways, creating completely different results.
Yeah.
Because like when I applied those pigments to the pine, for me it was really important that they reflected light. I was really afraid of creating something that somehow reminded a little bit of something that you could find in nature.
You wanted to be like super hype.
It needed to be really, really, really like reflecting light in a way, almost like a rainbow, or like having this prism effect. Because I was very inspired by northern lights and rainbows and these somehow light effects in a way. And not nature at all. So when all the different pigments met, maybe it became a little bit dense and maybe a little bit dark green, or like these type of hues that you somehow can find in nature. Then it somehow died a little bit for me, like the result. So I was always like trying to create this mix of colors that somehow creates this tension and vibrating that somehow reminds a little bit about light. Yeah,
and the rainbow.
Yeah.
And this is but maybe it's also because like with the rainbow, it's present and you see it, and then on the other hand, it's super untouchable and not tangible, and you can't like hold it and grab it, and so you can define the color, but then it feels like it's changing all the time.
Yeah. So even that is very psychedelic, because then you're doubting like, is it existing or is it not, or is it just in my head?
Yeah.
Is it only me seeing this? And I think those things I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
Because then we're like, something new is happening in the brain.
But I think also like for me, that's one of the reasons why I'm obsessed with colors, is that it's, in theory, colors don't exist in the physical world. It only exists in your head, because it exists as the light hits the material, and either is then reflected or absorbed and then goes into your eye, and then in the eye, in the receptors of the eye, the color is made in your brain. And when I think about that, I'm like, that it kind of doesn't make sense, and then it does make sense, and that's why I'm like, color is such a weird material, or is it a material?
Yeah, no, I see it as a material, definitely.
Yeah.
Or I use it as a material.
Yeah.
Because for me, in everything I make, I consider the color, just as I would, consider any material.
I just love talking about color with Fredrik. His curiosity and the way he thinks about the effect color has on us is really inspiring. So I'm really looking forward to hearing which color he picked for my experiment, The Sound of a Color. So what color have you chosen to hear?
Like a very, very, very deep, dark purple. Oof. Almost like it's black. Do you know like a black light? like the actual bulb, the blacklight bulb.
Like in the photographic kind of studio, like not or like.
No, like the one that when you turn it on, like when you're at a rave and there's black lights and your teeth looks like they're
white.
Yes.
Or like that fluorescent.
That type of purple. Like when you shut off that.
The color that it has.
Yeah. That really, it's almost like aubergine.
Yeah, but like black aubergine.
Yes, but it's purple, but it's aubergine.
Yeah, but it's purple, but it's aubergine. Yeah. Ooh, why that color?
Because it's so interesting. Because I'm fascinated by the black light bulb. Mm-hmm. Like because it looks black. Like the glass bulb looks black, and it can create light. Like other things can light. Your teeth can become a lamp almost. And I don't know how that works. And I'm just like really.
You're like you're mind boggled by the kind of crossover.
Yes,
like the blackness to the whiteness.
Yeah. And also it's a beautiful color. I like purple in a way. It's magic.
Yeah, it is magic. Purple is like Prince.
Yes.
Magic.
Yep.
Like magicians, purple.
Oh yeah, there is something about it.
Purple is also like a color that people sometimes is kind of offended or disgusted by.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's so fascinating. I love those. I mean, it's very rarely like you come across people that have so strong opinions about those type of things. But purple. Yeah, it kind of. There's a divider there.
Yeah.
It's like fruit in food.
Yeah, do you want pineapple on your pizza?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Do you want purple in your house? No.
Yeah, that's the pineapple on the pizza color.
Yeah, it is the pineapple. That is it. Okay, but actually with the pizza in mind, if we think about colors as something that can touch us on other senses, what does it taste like, this dark black purple?
For me, it's like very, very, very deep, dense, umami type of flavor, but not the like sharp notes. It's very soft and very rounded. Mm-hmm. Some very type of base.
Like a broth, like an intense broth.
Deep, yeah. Like, I think like a porky, beefy, I don't know, meaty bone broth type of base.
Yeah, like the kind of core of the cooking kind of thing.
Yeah. I think
that's a nice description. Yeah. I can relate to that. Thinking of the bulb and the color. Oh, delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to be fun then to hear what the musician comes up with for that color. Deep black dark purple and rich fleshy umami flavor. There's definitely a lot to unpack here. I'm excited to see how Sophie will translate that into sound and music. Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Sarah.
For this season of The Sound of Color, I'm thrilled to be collaborating with musician and producer Sophie Sø, the artist behind the experimental electro-pop project Aloo. Blending synthesizers, drum machines and cinematic strings with her powerful yet sensitive vocals, Aloo has gained international attention for her emotional depth and sonic detail. With a background in mathematics, computer science, sound engineering and music, Sophie brings a uniquely analytical and intuitive approach to sound. She'll be creating a musical interpretation of each guest's chosen color throughout season 2, and I can't wait for you to hear what color sounds like. Now, let's get back to the episode. So we're at it again. I'm so excited to create our next musical experiment, The Sound of a Color.
Me too.
And in this episode, my guest is designer and artist Fredrik Paulsen. And he's quite known for his like playful, colorful furniture and also his rebellious take on design conventions. So when I asked him to pick a color for the experiment, he showed me this black bulb. And he was really fascinated by this light bulb, but especially like the fact that it's almost like symbolic in the contrast between black and white, like darkness and light. Like, you know, he was like, it's a bit mind-boggling that this is a very dark object because of the color of the light bulb, but it can actually make other objects become like light sources. So that's the color that he kind of, the color comes from this light bulb. So the color that he chose is deep dark black purple.
Nice. So what is your initial reaction to this color? Love it. Like no, the contrast thing is always interesting for me to work with as a composer, and this dark color, the dark purple, almost black, and the neon immediately brings me to Berlin nightclubs, like the dark clubs where it's like only lit up by some lighting, and the music that's in those clubs are like, yeah, very dark, and I definitely want to make something that corresponds to this, and to also to these the contrast of lighting up things. Like I can see how there can be some play in this.
Yeah, that would be really fun. Also because I think that for Fredrik was like one of the things he was like, okay, this dark purple. He was like, I like purple, and it was like it kind of divides people. Like purple is a color that kind of divides people into lovers and haters. And he said like, oh well, purple is a color that divides people. It's a bit like fruit on food. You know, do you like pineapple on pizza or not?
Nice.
So maybe first of all, do you like purple? Are you a purple lover or purple hater?
It's a very good question. It's funny. It's almost like orange, right? It's like exactly. I have this double feeling about it, because this light bulb, love it. Mm-hmm. Love that color, the very, very darkness. But there's something to the more reddish purple and more bright, not like super bright, but some in between kind of color. Not really into it, no. Especially if I was gonna wear it or something, I would feel like, no, this is really not my color. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just kind of ugly to me.
Yeah, but that's quite interesting. I think it's like I can totally. That's quite when you go. I think also sometimes now talking about color in like endless amounts of podcasts, and like with this musical experiment with you, I'm also a bit like I want to, you know. Of course, our language is kind of quite limited. You know, as you said, when we say purple, of course, this light bulb, which is like dark, deep black purple, very kind of beautiful and like mysterious. But then, of course, you can also say purple and think of like, I don't know, some weird kids' toys in like a quite bright purple color, or you can have these almost like soft lilacs, which I think some people love, and some people are like, that's the most hideous pastel puke color.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting, like to kind of ponder a bit about like the spectrum of purple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and which purple we actually talk about, because this very, very dark purple also, like I looked at the color spectrum, and it's almost not visible. It's like by the very, very end of this spectrum. It's like, you know, the next...
So visible to the eye, basically?
Yeah, like it's almost in the UV range, like the very low part of the wavelength, but also it has very little saturation. It's very... like there's almost no color in it. You know, it's so dark. Like there's almost no light. You can say.
That's so. Okay, so like before I leave you, I just wanna like, how do you think you'll create the sound of this deep, dark, black purple?
Yeah. So because of this, like the contrast, and also like. I also want to go with my immediate intuition about this, like when we get this dark color, we're like, it's almost black, and I just hear bass in my head. I just want to be in the clubs with the very long wavelengths, and I
like to be in the clubs with the very...
But there is seriously like Berghain, for example, you know, there's like the way it's built, you really have space for all this bass to just be very long wavelengths, standing waves and stuff like. So
it's so interesting.
So, like that's what I think. But then I also want this like thing to break it, like this short wavelengths. I want it to be mysterious, like the color, but also harsh as fuck. Sorry, but it's like...
You can swear in this podcast. You're allowed.
because like the short wavelengths, they can hit you like really hard, like when it's bass and like these like high frequencies. It's a funny sound picture to make, I think. So definitely want to play with that and make some little surprises and stuff.
Like the pineapple on the pizza.
Like the pineapple on the pizza. Unexpected but nice.
Exactly. Okay. Well, on that note, I think I'm gonna say bye for now, and then I'm gonna look forward to coming back and hearing what you came up with.
Yeah.
I love that deep black dark purple has got Sophie's thoughts going. And while she dives deeper into that, let's hear about one of Fredrik Paulsen's bigger projects. A pavilion he created for the Nobel Prize ceremony back in 2021.
It was during COVID. Every year they have the banquet where they have the prize ceremony here in Stockholm. But during COVID, obviously, they couldn't do that. So they focused on the week, they called it Nobel Week, when they actually make the announcements and they phone everyone, all the laureates up. So during that week, they had an idea to have a pavilion in a very central spot in Stockholm, in the Sergelstorg. And they asked me to design the pavilion, which was great. And at the time when I got the question, like, they didn't really know how to program it or what to use it for, but I knew they wanted a pavilion. So I was a little bit also involved in,
what is going to be in
But we landed on a cinema, like they wanted to show documentaries about Peace Prize winners.
Yeah.
And it was going to be open for 24 hours, 24/7 or what do you call it, all the time. It was always open. And also it was COVID, so it's like we had so many different things to consider about, I really wanted to have air flowing and, how people could enter that space. And
so you don't get infected.
And I also wanted to make a really smart design, so you didn't need a big ramp for if you were in a wheelchair to access it. So I was thinking about all these type of accessibility questions, and also myself, like, how would I, like, in these type of pavilions, like in the very central, am I interested in those things? How should they look? For me, it's really important to somehow see what's going on in the inside. Like, what am I agreeing to here when I enter the space? So for me, it was very important to do something that you could really easily read. And I think we had 5 different screens inside this pavilion. So I wanted to expose all these screens and somehow show it. So it was I did this big one. It was like a round structure that was translucent, that you can see all the screens from the
360
outside.
degrees.
Yeah,
kind of.
And also this plaza is below street level.
Yeah.
So it's surrounded by streets.
So you'd have like roads up on bridges or what you call it.
Yeah. Which means like all passers-by are looking down on the plaza, so you will see a lot of the roof, and also around this plaza, it's a lot of really tall buildings.
Yeah.
So the rooftop was something that you would very presence in the design.
Yeah.
And this plaza has this somehow iconic graphic pattern. It's this black and white triangular pattern. So I wanted to do something that somehow was in contrast to this
pattern.
Yeah, this graphic black and white pattern. So obviously on the roof of this building, it was a big circle. I think it's 10 meter in diameter.
That's huge.
So one day I was, before the opening, like reveal of this pavilion, I was on the roof painting it in the same way as I paint.
So basically,
furniture.
what you did with the roof, that you made the roof into one huge,
I don't know, messy, colorful batik type of thing.
Yeah, so you did this kind of tie-dye wood coloring method on the entire roof.
Yeah, so I was just pouring water and soaking it water and then adding the pigments to it. So no, it was really fun. I wish everyone can I don't know, access image or film clips of that, because it was.
We'll do a link.
Yeah, please do, because it was fun, and I think it looked great. I'm very happy with it because it really combined functionality and this, I don't know, weird splashy colors to it for me in a nice way.
I can totally see why Fredrik loved the process. Standing there on a giant circular canvas, surrounded by a sea of beautiful colors, blending them in and out of each other. The result was stunning. A huge explosion of color that truly carries Fredrik Paulsen's design DNA.
I mean, it needs to be something that says something about, I don't know, me.
Yeah.
Or I think like we need to be more personal.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's people are a little bit afraid to reveal their personality in design. Yeah. Because it needs to sell in a lot of quantities, and
I think
all need to relate to things.
I think that's a very interesting point within design about, and also both in designers designing, but also people consuming design.
Yeah.
Or surrounding themselves, is this whole thing about being afraid of showing what you just said, being afraid of showing personality.
Yeah.
Why is that important to you?
No, it's important to me because the world doesn't need any more middle way things. Mm-hmm. Like we don't need. I mean, we don't need things.
No.
More things. Like we need, culture. Mm. And then, like we cannot make like billions of new shares and dump into the world. We don't need it. I mean, buy used shares, repurpose stuff. Mm. So all the new stuff that gets out there needs to somehow have a relevance. Really needs to say something new, to say something else, and we can talk to a smaller group of people. You don't need to, talk to everyone here.
No.
So we need to be more specific. So I don't know, to create stuff that people, the ones who are getting interested, that they, get those things and keep them forever in a way. That they to create a bond.
Yeah, that you personally resonate with.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's about trends, and then you buy something because you feel like it and it was affordable or whatever. And
but I also feel like trends is like you buy something because someone else says that's the thing you should buy.
It's so easy to just like getting distracted and just getting something.
Yeah.
But if you get something that truly means something to you, then it's less likely that you will, get tired of it 2 years' time and getting something else. Like when you really need to do things that are with people for longer times.
Absolutely. We need objects where designers and producers have really put in the effort, spent time carefully developing both form and color. And that's exactly what Fredrik did with one of his other projects, Chair 1, a piece that also went through quite a journey when it came to color.
The first chair that we presented, like the prototype, had no colors at all. I mean, it was a raw aluminum and transparent acrylic. So it didn't have any colors to it at all. It was like naked in a way.
It was like the essence of a chair.
Yeah. But that was like presented in a gallery and it was limited. But then when I designed the chair, it was like so many different colors on it, color combinations. So the chair. And
what do you mean like there was so many different colors?
Like sometimes one product, it has one color to it, or it has some different colors to it. But when I designed this collection, it was the whole collection with all different colors was as important. So like you can take one color or like one colorway out from the collection and it can stand on their own. But the whole idea of the whole collection was all different color combinations of each share that created like a whole. And that whole was in a way the product.
Got it.
So I liked that whole multicolor combination in a way. I don't know how to put words on it, but each color combination somehow made a little vibrant combination. But each different color combination work together, and all these mixed color combinations, like for instance, the chair that I'm sitting at now has like a burgundy seat and a pale pink structure. And that combination is, in my eyes, very nice. Mm-hmm. But that one, together with the rest of the collection, creates vibration in a way that is considered, that is like the whole, that's the product in a way.
Yeah, so almost like because what you did was then from that acrylic raw aluminum chair, you kind of created a series of the same chair where the back and the seat is one color and then the aluminum frame is another color.
Yes.
So it's almost like the product becomes a two-colored.
Yes.
And it's very simple, and then each chair you can get different color combinations.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you mean and so what you mean is that for you don't see it as the single chair. Here's the one chair, which is these two colors.
Yeah.
And that's not separate from the other chair that has another set of color
Exactly, because those whole things is all the different ones is the same. It's one, so it's one.
Yeah, so it's almost like, so when you created that color scale, like even though in one object, in one chair, it's only two of the colors, but those two colors came about because you kind of create the wholeness of all the color combinations.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so you're like, I can have the burgundy and the pink, the light pink here because I have the yellow and...
They all work together very nice. So it's not only that they work together nice, like together they create a whole. They work on their own, but it's when you see them all together, that's when you somehow, this is how I was thinking. You get the whole somehow spectrum in a way when you see them all together. And I think that's interesting because it's so much about the color and the color combination, but then it becomes something else.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know how to explain it.
No, when it comes to color, nothing is ever simple, luckily. Otherwise, there wouldn't be much reason to make a podcast about it. But then Fredrik gets an idea. Why don't we step next door and look at the full collection of chairs? Maybe that'll make things a bit easier to understand. Okay, we're out in your space.
Yeah.
We're looking at the five chairs. Yeah. Chair one, and you have like the one that you talked about, burgundy, light pink. Then you have like hot pink. I love that word, hot pink.
Hot pink and
like cartoon yellow.
Yes.
Then you have sky blue with like
Klein
blue.
Yeah.
Then you have like grass green with like lime green. And then you have orange with warmer hot pink.
Yeah, this one is called Tangerine and Dream.
Tangerine and Dream, yeah.
Money and Chartreuse.
Money and Chartreuse.
Klein and Little Wave.
Yeah.
Honey and Pizzazz. Cotton Candy and Wine.
Cotton candy and wine.
Yeah.
I like it. I think.
You have to taste it.
You have to taste it. But I think also what I like about actually when you talk about it like that, and for me as well with the colors, it's that you have juxtapositions.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are like, and it's about the juxtaposition. It's kind of where the things messes with your brain. It's like where the rainbow is there and it's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's it. It's the rainbow.
Yeah, it is and these color combinations. I mean, it's funny because these two vibrate. This one here makes more sense. It's more calm in a way. But this combination, together with this combination, creates a whole. It's not the same tone all over again. It creates something else. And this here, it's two contrasting colors in a way, but they make sense. But together, this is between these two that things are happening. And together with all this here, then something is happening. And I don't know. I can't really explain it. But there is something I'm after, and it's reflecting light in a way. And it creates, and this somehow, I don't know, it radiates energy in a way. And this, for instance, this example here, I got really blinded by the sunlight one time. I shut my eyes, and I was really blinded. And then you can see the patterns on the
retina or whatever, physiological.
Yeah, and it was like dots floating around in front of my eyes because I was so blinded by the lights. And it was this orange and this pink. So I mean, I wanted to recreate that notion. So it's all have this somehow experiences from light in a way. So it's that's for me is very important. And it's funny because then when I create this combination here, I never thought I would create a white chair.
It's white. We're back to the paint Magella, but still not.
But now I landed in, this is so funny because for people this will be the like the solution 1A, like just a white chair, done. For me it's like landing on, then after creating all these and then landing on the white. For me this white is so important in a way because this one also creates light. Because for me, otherwise, like you can see that white is like, that's not the color, it's just a white. But for me, this one is like, when I did this white chair, for me it's like, this is the one. I landed on this very beautiful thing. And also the way that it is not about any combinations, it's all white.
But I think also with this one, it's because then you see the kind of very, the essence, you're back into the essence of creating the chair, and you're revealing all the little details in the kind of aluminum holes and the screw, and you can see everything. Looks very honest.
Yeah, and it's so funny because
it is what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's so funny because people are so easily fooled or tricked by colors and patterns. So people were always looking at my work and, he's the postmodern guy. He does Memphis stuff and he's very postmodern, 80s inspired. Yeah. And that is, so, that's true in one way, but that you have only been looking at the top first layer of things. Because if you took away all the colors, if you painted everything black, would it still be the Pomo guy? Then the same guys would probably say, no, he's the modernist. I don't know. It's so funny to like not getting stuck in one style or whatever, but truly like working on a level that is not based on different styles. You can somehow relate to different styles, but it's I don't know, it's universal in a different way.
To me, Fredrik's work is design boiled down to its essence, where you can see the materials, the craftsmanship and the functionality. It's design at its most honest, with everything unnecessary stripped away.
I mean, for me, my work is hardcore.
Yeah.
It's very, very hardcore, and it's a little bit, I don't know.
I feel like it's straight talking. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not bush. You're not beating about the bush.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, it's a chair. It has a seat. It has a back. It has some legs.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Everything I do, it's an expression of my somehow despise in a way of the superficial bullshit that surrounds design. It's I hate these somehow commercial things that is there only for you to somehow express wealth or like to I don't know, to decorate your home in a way. And it's so double, and I love everything that is somehow double meaning in a way, because what I do also is people use it, people buy it to somehow decorate their homes with. It is what it is. Yeah. But what do you say? Decisions that I make is so direct and so straightforward and so, I don't know, simple in a way. It has to do with my somehow despise of consumerism in a way. Because it's a type of anti-design. I construct my furniture as an engineer would construct a
bridge.
Or whatever, stuff like that. It's very, pragmatic. And it's not all the solutions I do, construction solutions, they are based on like the most pragmatic way of like binding those two pieces together in a way.
But but that's also because I also feel like with Joy, like your furniture line, I feel like both the products, the chair, and you have like a few, like a chair and a stool and a bench and tables
and shelves.
They're all constructed as you're just describing now. But I also feel like you're now at a point where you approach color and the use of color in your work in the same way.
Yeah.
You know.
It's systems in a way.
Yeah, it's like systems, and it's like cutting bullshit away, and it's just like this color, and like I don't know, it's so weird because in a way it's like there's lots of nuances in your colors, but somehow the nuances and the tones of color that you choose feels like a no bullshit color.
Yeah.
Here's a no bullshit color, and I put it together with this no bullshit color to make zing. No bullshit.
Yeah. No, but I'm allergic to bullshit. Yeah. Visual bullshit.
Yeah.
And bullshit.
Yeah.
No, I hate it.
All right, let's drop all the bullshit and hear what Fredrik's brought. Something that inspires him. And what have you brought?
Something that I brought up earlier.
I'm leaving. I'm sitting. You're leaving me. Fredrik is running away into his studio, finding inspiration. It's a big studio. You found it. Oh, just the packaging. Oof. It's here. What is it, Fredrik?
It's a black light bulb. The type of bulb that makes everything else glow in the dark.
Exactly, and it has that really deep purple color. Oof. 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 That's the sound.
Yeah, that's the sound.
Oof. I like also the box. That's an amazing box.
Yeah. I bought it first time I was in LA, 19 years old.
I love that.
25 years ago.
25 years ago.
It's been sitting
and it's still sitting on your shelf.
Yeah, in this box because I think it's...
But the box is like part of it.
It is.
Because it like we have had a bit of walk around in your studio, and you don't seem like you have like lots of kind of inspirational objects around in a way.
No.
But this one you have, and you've had it for 25 years.
Yes.
And it's been sitting in your studio. 25 years.
Yeah.
How do you feel like this reflects the way that you source inspiration for colors?
What I like about this is that it works almost as this image does. Mm-hmm. We have the light bulb and we have this it radiates.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a technical drawing of the light bulb, which is purple, like as the light bulb, and then on the background or out, it kind of out from it shines this kind of like a psychedelic squared space of like pink and black squares.
Yeah, and that's a very great illustration of how I think things that inspires me works. It has so many different meanings and functions, and for me, like, this is so interesting that it is a light in a box, and I don't use it, and it's sitting inside of the box, and when you open it, it's black, but it creates other things to turn into light in a way. Mm-hmm. But most importantly, this is not a fancy thing. It's
$3.99.
It's a very common little object, but it's not a normal light bulb. It's not like a beautiful thing that you found in a hardware store. Mm-hmm. It's a very specific thing. You find it in a type of youth culture store. It really relates to, like, I don't know, underground raves, rock and roll, music, counterculture in a way. Mm-hmm. It is about something else, and it's about having a good time in a way.
But maybe I think it's actually quite nice, because for me, from the outside, it's about about the juxtaposition of things. It's about, you making design which is super kind of like the getting into the center of things, like the essence of design, and then again putting like tie-dye crazy batik colors on stuff.
Yeah.
Or like creating a chair which is as like this like extracted as possible in chair 1, and then putting kind of like really intense colors on it, putting it together. So you have this thing about liking something which is like the ultra simplistic form, and then all the crazy human side and culture that can be created around that thing.
Well put.
There you go. Okay, good. I think we're done. I think that it was a pleasure to talk to you about it.
Nice, likewise.
I want to say thank you. It was exciting to talk about colors and your design. And I think we should then just listen to the sound of this deep purple black light thing. A huge thank you to Fredrik for generously sharing his thoughts on color and what design can be. Now, all that's left to hear is what Sophie has created from Fredrik's deep black dark purple. Hi Sophie, I'm back.
Hi Sarah.
So, you have worked on interpreting the color deep dark black purple, and I'm really excited to hear the musical take you've come up with. Can you tell us a bit about your process?
Yeah. So first of all, I wanted to make something dark, like the color. For me, dark is equal to bass and with a lot of sub, like that's the lowest frequency you can like hear that's audible for humans. And yeah, I was like find a sub bass, but also a more distinguishable bass. That means it has to be a little bit higher than the sub, so that we can hear some movement in the sound. And then I was like, we want something strong and high frequency, like high pitch, to come in to reflect this purple color with the short wavelengths and the high frequencies. And still I want us to go to a dark nightclub in Berlin. So how do we get there? Like,
take the Ryanair. Is it? Okay,
So first I made the bass, the sub, and then I broke it with a bass where I, from that bass, created a new sound with something called sound toys, like some plugins that are very fun to play around with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was very fun for me to play around with this in this exact track, because I wanted this big room to come in and have its own role in the composition. So it actually, you can hear it behind, it's coming in sometimes to like take some space and be its own instrument.
Yeah, so you started doing you wanted to like kind of create this space, this deep bass space, and you got to play with your new sound toys. And what happened then?
Yeah, so from this bass line that I made, I created a sound from that with the sound toys. That was very high pitched.
Yeah.
And also used something called stutter, which brings a rhythm into. So basically, a bass in this track is a drone, like my bass.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring rhythm into that, so I used something called stutter. And on top of this stutter, like this little, it makes more like come in like little spiky things. I added some plugins, like one called Devil Lock, one called Little Altar Boy, to make it more high pitch and more crazy. And then I did a lot of processing all around in between the tracks, and added, of course, a kick. And
I love that if you could just list down, like it's like a menu almost, like today we're gonna eat Today we're going to listen to, what was it? Altar Boy and
and Devil Luck.
And a Devil Luck with a bit of a kick.
Yeah. Well, that's like I've basically been mixing. It's like cooking sometimes.
That's good. I love that. Is there any other kind of great ideas you want to share with the listeners about this piece of music?
No, I think I would probably just say, like, at the end, I just wanted to bring it more and more into the club and the party and the neon lights and the stroboscopes and make it kind of a trance techno vibe. So it ends there. We only have 1 minute, so these tracks usually just develop over like a half hour or whatever. But
it ends there.
It ends there. It's a quick build up.
Well, I think we should actually ask the listeners to put their headphones on, turn up the volume, get comfortable, and close your eyes, because here comes the sound of deep, dark, black purple. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who loves colors and design just as much as you do. Hopefully, they will enjoy it as well. If you'd like to see more about Fredrik Paulsen's work, head over to my website sarahgottlieb.dk under the podcast section. This episode was brought to you by Flügger and made possible with support from the Danish Arts Foundation. Thanks again for listening. See you next time on The Sound of Color.